Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh.
And Patty XRP.
And we got some bombshell news, to say the least, from Sologenic. So just when you thought the airdrops were going to come to an end on Christmas Eve, we have just been notified as of yesterday that there will be a second airdrop taking place between December 24th and December 30th. And that is just one of 13 airdrops that will take place over a monthly basis for all Solo holders to receive the core token. So this is going to be a jam-packed video with a lot of information they released, and we're going to try to break it down as deep as we can for everybody, and we're going to run through the airdrop dynamics here and what is going on for all Solo holders and what they need to know first and foremost. So, Patty, let's start off here with December 24th is the upcoming snapshot of Sologenic tokens and XRP holders tokens to receive the remaining 200 million supply of Solo. Now, 100 million will be going to all Solo holders, 100 million to XRP holders. What changes now, Patty, with this new core airdrop coming?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, Sologenic made an announcement yesterday that they are working on a new blockchain called Corium, which will be its own independent layer one smart contract, Turing complete blockchain. With that, it's going to have its own native asset, which is going to be the core token. There's about a 500 million token supply. And with that, we can see 70% is allocated to various parts of the community and 30% goes to operations. So Corium maintenance, operations, developers, team, and investors. So we'll focus on this community aspect. Basically, there will be an airdrop to Solo token holders over a 12-month period, which I think is roughly 371 days. And then in the future, they'll have an airdrop to core holders, which will be 30% of the total supply over a 12 to 36 months distribution schedule. The Solo community airdrop will be 20% of the total supply. So going on down here, we
Can
get
I just
yeah, go ahead.
Throw in one thing that this is being done to support, I think, the Solo price. So this random snapshot that's going to take place every month is now running where people just come in and buy the token and then sell it right away. And this first random snapshot, Patty, is taking place at a very interesting time, and it's coming up very soon.
Yeah, so right here, as Mickey's saying, between the 24th and the 31st of December, they're going to have a random snapshot take place. I don't know how the mechanism behind that works entirely, but anybody that has Solo tokens in a self-custody wallet will be eligible to get the first round of airdrop, which would be delivered in January, it looks like. So with 100 million core tokens to be distributed to wallet addresses, they're going to have in total 13 snapshots that will be taken over 371 days. And each month will have a random date and time selected for the snapshot with delivery the following month. So moving on down here, the core tokens will be distributed via an IOU on the XRP ledger. And once Corium's mainnet is launched in August 2022, users can conduct a token swap through a gateway designated for the core token. Alternatively, the token can remain and coexist on the XRP ledger as an IOU and be traded on the XRPL DEX, which you could utilize the Sologenic interface for that. And so, what this is doing, there'll be a market for the core tokens prior to their testnet launching or the mainnet launching, and the token will be living on the XRP ledger until they build that gateway to move it over. So moving on down here, let's see. Here's
it looks like
schedule. Yeah.
I just want to throw in there, if you have a Sologenic trust line set up, you will not have to do anything to receive the core tokens because you're already got a trust line to their Sologenic gateway. But say you had XRP at the time of this December 24th snapshot, and then you wanted to get some Solo to go for the core snapshot that's coming up a few days later. You need to then create a trust line to Sologenic if you want to get those core tokens and that snapshot. But you won't have to do anything if you already have a Sologenic trust line set up.
Yeah, you just have to add eventually the one for the core tokens. And so with this, you can see that this is going to go from this month all the way to December 2022, which will have 13 snapshots. As you can see, if we look like January 2022, you get delivery in February. There'll be IOUs all the way up until through July. And then in August, you'll start getting core on the mainnet if it launches by then. Additionally, we can move down here. If you have Solo on centralized exchanges, you're going to have to confirm with those exchanges if they're going to support that airdrop, and also through this entire, an entire year of those airdrops coming through. So I think we all know from like Songbird and stuff that expecting some of these exchanges to do this is a lot. And, I imagine maybe BitTrue, maybe something like that will support this in the future. Additionally, if you want to trade, you can trade via the XRP Ledger DEX once the first distribution is completed in February 2022. So that's kind of the gist of the airdrop. I'll put the link to this Medium article in the description of the video so you guys can kind of look through it for yourself, since there's a lot going on with it. But basically, I imagine what they're trying to do here is, like Mickey's saying, they want to support the price of the Solo token and not give people a defined date to just sell out of it completely. So we'll have to see how well that performs here over the next couple of months. We know the Solo snapshots at 8 p.m. UTC on Christmas Eve, so here in 3 days from now. And so we'll have to see, are people going to sell off, or are they going to hold their Solo token to get the future delivery of for a new blockchain. Additionally, we know the airdrop of the Solo tokens for this, the snapshot that's taking place on the 24th is going to be January 20th. So we'll have to see when people get delivered the other 50% of the Solo token supply. Do they care enough to keep holding for this core token, or are they going to go ahead and sell it? I imagine, at least this will keep some people from selling. Certainly it's not going to keep everybody, but maybe it will lessen the impact that would have happened, which, I was kind of assuming it would be pretty bad based on what just happened with XFi and Songbird. So I'll have to see how it works out for him. But Mickey, I don't know if you have anything else on the airdrop, or if you kind of want to hop into like, what is the deal with Corium and what is going on here?
Yeah. So last thing I want to touch on with the airdrops here is they're starting to become very used to it. As a community, we're becoming very used to these airdrops, and this is kind of taking the airdrop gamification to the next level, because now we're going from Sologenic, we're bootstrapping to a new token, Core. So now I'm sure everyone's asking, well, why do we need this new token, Core? What's Sologenic going to be used for? And also, why do we need this new blockchain that's being built? Now, we're going to talk about that, and this is where it gets very interesting, to say the least. So just a quick background on what Sologenic was doing. They were trying to always build tokenized stocks and securities and equities and ETFs on the XRP ledger. And they started this project over 2 years ago. The Solo token's been out, and they've been held up with the licensing for trying to get that tokenized platform launched. They have built a wallet with access to the XRP Ledger DEX. Now, the Solo DEX is the same DEX that's the XRP Ledger DEX, just through a different interface. And then they also built a tokenized app, but has not been launched for production because there's no tokenized assets yet. So this announcement came as a shock to myself, and I think you as well, Patty, that they're going to be moving off the XRP ledger and building a so-called third generation layer 1 blockchain built to serve as a core infrastructure of future blockchain applications. Now, this is going to be a bonded proof of stake network built on Tendermint. It's going to have 7,000 transactions per second. It's going to have WebAssembly smart contracts, and it's going to have a DEX built into it. And interoperability, they're using the Gravity Bridge as a basis for that interoperability between blockchains. There's not too many details on that, but the use cases are what they were always planning to do. Tokenized stocks, NFT marketplace. It says remittances, payments, lending. What else was on there?
I mean,
Gaming,
basically
metaverse.
anything you do on like XRPL or like Ethereum
Exactly.
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So now I'm going to throw in here is I saw many people on Twitter asking, and I asked myself, what was the need to build a completely new layer one blockchain, which is not even going to be launched, is expected date is August 2022. So that we're looking at 8-9 months away. And now these two tokens are going to exist on the XRP ledger. They're going to have no network. They're going to have no real, to be honest, what is the utility and use until that network is launched? So that's just something to think about. And when you're making your investment decisions here, and everything we say is not financial advice. So Patty, what are your thoughts on this new Corium blockchain and the fact that Sologenic is taking their building off the XRP ledger?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, I was just kind of like, "What?" I was like, I didn't really understand what they were going for. I will start off with this that I read through this whole blog, and they have some different interesting ideas in regards to how the blockchain operates and stuff like that that I think are interesting if they can bring that all to fruition. I like that they had this idea behind kind of putting some of the transaction fees into a rewards pool rather than burning all of them. And also some will go to the validators. This is another proof of stake blockchain, which, we know there are already a ton of Turing complete proof of stake blockchains that have been out for a while. They're using the Cosmos SDK. So I imagine that's why they're going to be able to build this so quickly. And I know what I'm going to say, people are going to be like, oh, well, you talk about Flare all the time and they're not out yet. But the thing is, Sologenic, I heard about this in 2019 and there's still no asset tokenization platform. I didn't know about Flare until last fall. And also, Flare has not issued any tokens for its mainnet yet. The Spark tokens have not come out. So they're going to be, building this Corium blockchain. They have a timeline for when stuff is going to come out. Maybe they're going to adhere completely to the timeline. The issue I see is there's so many projects out there that keep getting delayed from when they thought they'd be able to do things. Flare and Songbird are not just one of them. Polkadot parachains have came out way later than people thought they would. Cardano is still trying to get their whole DApp program out there that I know that was a big joke. People like to, say online, oh, when's Cardano going to have a smart contract? Ethereum moving to proof of stake, that keeps getting pushed back. So, to me, there's obviously a lot to do with all this stuff, and projects need to do it right because people have a lot of money at risk and there's so many eyes on the space now that it wouldn't shock me if we see, this project not launch on that date. Totally. Maybe they're able to do that and get it done by then, but you're going to have this IOU out there long before the project actually launches. That kind of bothers me personally. Also, I wasn't extremely satisfied with their answers on why they wanted to build the Corium blockchain. There's tons of options that they could have launched Sologenic on instead of the XRPL if they wanted to. They could have gone with side chains, which are going to be out in the first half of 2022. There's no governance parameters that need to be changed to the XRPL for those to launch. So, that could have been an option. Could have gone with a layer 2. They could have gone potentially with Flare, or they could have gone with some other blockchain out there that's not connected with the XRP ledger ecosystem. Also, they're saying they're not leaving the XRPL, but how are you going to do Sologenic like you want to do if you're saying right now you can't do it? So I just have a lot of questions about it. Also, full disclosure, I don't own any Solo. Once the airdrop was announced, I kind of thought the price was high. Obviously, I underestimated that big time. So, take that for what you will.
Yeah, and just to add to those side chains right now, they're actually available right now for testing and to be spun up on the XRP ledger. If you go to XRPL, XR Spring Engine, there is the sidechain launch kit, and it gives a full detailed breakdown of the XRP ledger sidechains. And from what I read here of Corium's blockchain, everything that is listed here can be done on an XRP ledger federated sidechain. It could use custom WASM smart contracts. It can use bonded proof of stake consensus. It could even actually have those transaction fees all collected up and then put in a rewards pool. So what I'm just perplexed about here is federated sidechains are layer one blockchains. Now, you get all the capabilities of what you're going to be able to build here with the XRP ledger's mainnet and DEX that you'll be able to connect to. Now, they say they're building a DEX with an order book in here, but I'm curious how they're going to make it a decentralized DEX, because that has to be built in the protocol. And we know many of these smart contract blockchains, they don't have it natively in the blockchain. Very few have them with order books. Most of them are dApps on top, automated market makers, or they create some other type of dApp that's customized with oracles for a DEX. Stellar and the XRP Ledger have that unique feature that the DEX is built in. So the whole community's here. We have NFTs about to launch in early 2022. We have Hook's amendment coming. We have automated market maker, and the side chains are live. So after 2 years, 2.5 years being with the XRP community, I just find it a little strange. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, because Patty, I'm not sold on the reasoning they gave us. And I asked on Twitter. They just said they were looking for a next generation blockchain. And then the other point here, Patty, is they could have easily spun up either a dApp ecosystem on Flare or a layer 2 on Flare with all the same capabilities and a robust ecosystem already being built. So it's kind of shocking that you would abandon two layer 1 networks that are about to explode with adoption and have established communities, and then just go make your own and wait 8 months, but then release tokens 8 months before, and just keep airdropping things out. So I'm going to be honest, I don't want to be any negative with this, but I want to see something developed before I'm fully on board.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel. It seems like, I also hate how they called their DEX like Sologenic DEX, like they actually built the DEX. It's an interface to use it. And yeah, it's definitely a nice, slick interface. But, the whole thing with their project was this asset tokenization platform, which hasn't come to fruition, which I'm sure is very difficult to build. So, I'm not going to fault them too much there. It's just the move is weird to me. Also, they kind of are advertising Corium as like better than all these other blockchains. So I'm like, is this about Sologenic, or do you want to do your own layer 1 and compete with all these other layer 1s out there and do things a little differently? Like, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but also you have this solo token out there. I still don't really understand the use case for it. And also, I guess now it's just to receive this new blockchain, that the use case is like to receive the airdrops for this new blockchain in the future. I'm not saying I would never use this thing. I'm gonna have to see what the white paper looks like and how their testnet is. It could be very possible that it's awesome and it works really great, and there's applications on there that I want to use. So I'm not gonna say that I would never use it or anything. It's just a weird move to me. I also, I think it's a lot of risk to hold the solo token for an entire year to get this. The nice thing with some of the other snapshots, it's like one time and then you don't have to worry about it. Also, it's like when you give me a snapshot for XRP, well, it's like XRP is something I'm going to hold over the long haul through all the ups and downs. I don't know if the solo token is that for me at this point, but we're just going to have to see. You can see they have this comparison between some of the different blockchains. So, what they're going for. I will say they do have a couple advisors that they were the people that built the Logos blockchain that Ripple acquired a couple years ago and were working for Ripple X. So, I mean, those are some solid advisors to have behind you. Mickey, I'll see if you want to add anything more about that.
Yeah, that is interesting that those they're now former Ripple employees, and they went off to go work on other projects. So I've been thinking about this for the last day, and the answers that Sologenic gave, they just don't make sense because we know the technological capabilities of the sidechains by David Schwartz, who said it, is that they're horizontally scaled layer ones that are fully customizable. All the use cases laid out here on Corium easily could be achieved on the sidechain. There's nothing that's limiting there. There's nothing missing in functionality that's not there. It's all there. Or you had Flare. So I feel like there's got to be something else. And I'm going to speculate here on this. And, I'm not saying that I'm right, I'm wrong, but we know Ripple has been publicly talking about tokenization for the past maybe 6 months. And especially at Swell, they really focused on tokenization, their liquidity hub. And David Schwartz has told us they're building an Ethereum virtual machine based sidechain from Ripple X. And we know that's being built first. And they keep talking about this tokenization, this wallet, and NFTs marketplace, and this $250 million fund, and all these different 3 rounds of grant programs for more blockchain projects being built on the XRP ledger. So all these projects are being built right now as we speak for these advancements that are coming to the XRP ledger. Like sidechains is not an amendment. It's there now. You could go and test and spin up your own sidechain. And some of these projects are doing that. You could put your own custom smart contract languages, your own consensus. You could do all that right now. So I just feel it's kind of odd to leave while this ecosystem is about to really explode and it has a community. So what would be causing them to leave? And this is just me thinking logically. If Ripple is doing tokenization and they have all those banking partners and they have all those institutions, they didn't fund Sologenic. Sologenic did that on their own, their project. So it's possible they felt like, they didn't have a place on the ledger if Ripple X and other partners are going to be doing tokenized real estate and other big projects with big institutions. And maybe that's why they felt they had to leave the ecosystem. I mean, I'm just speculating there. I mean, I could be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see.
They did say that, Sologenic will operate on both, but also, they're saying right here, shortly after launch, we started coming up with new ideas and products to be built on the Sologenic ecosystem, but we were instantly blocked due to the lack of underlying features provided by the XRP ledger, such as smart contracts and issued currency escrows. I mean, you can do that on a side chain now. So it's just, I don't understand. It's like, we're not leaving the XRPL, but they say right here, we're leaving because you can't do these things, or at least building their own blockchain because you can't. So I don't know. I feel like there probably is something more going on here, Mickey. It's interesting. The transaction fee stuff is definitely interesting. How they have a rewards pool. They'll have staking and slashing and stuff like most proof of stake networks. Validator incentives. Let's see, moving on down here, they'll have some burning of the Corium tokens used as total fees to add a deflationary component. They'll have non-custodial delegating available in on-chain governance. And then also, fungible and non-fungible token issuance. So it looks like they're using some of the ideas with like trust lines in here and being able to, for the issuer to whitelist address that are allowed to hold a token. So you could do stuff with like KYC, AML, freeze assets if you need to like have that capability, but also have, issued currencies essentially that can't be frozen. So like if you wrap USDT onto the network, I guess USDT could freeze that, but if it was a decentralized asset, then you could, freely use those and nobody could restrict that. So, I mean, to me, I guess it's like a wait and see thing. They have their white paper coming out in February. So maybe there'll be something that really catches my eye here. I'm definitely not, they kind of trash EVM here, which, I would say if the EVM was going away, then I wouldn't see all of these different projects rushing to build their own EVM based like side chain, essentially. Like all the parachains on Polkadot, like Moonbeam is being a big EVM one, but other ones are adding EVM components to their parachains. We've seen that with Avalanche, with Solana. So, a lot of people are trying to keep the EVM around and use it because so much development has already been done on it. And, when a bunch of people have already built stuff, there's a lot of value in EVM based smart contracts. Like, to me, it's hard to believe they're going to go away. WebAssembly smart contracts are also, one of those ones that could be part of like the standard group of virtual machines in the future. It's made by World Wide Web Consortium, so like Mozilla, Google, entities like that. And also it's being used by other blockchains. There's a parachain on Polkadot called a Star that's actually making a cross virtual machine communication layer, which basically would allow like EVM based smart contracts and WASM based smart contracts to interoperate. So, I mean, this is interesting as well, but I'd say like the EVM's definitely not going away. And yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of other stuff that's interesting. They talk about all the different things you can do with blockchain, could be built on top of Corium as well. I mean, I do like that a lot of the token is going to the community. It's, so that part I think is good, especially, if you want to be a Sologenic holder. Certainly I am wrong on projects, or I don't go into projects for many reasons all the time. Also, we all have our capital allocation limits as well. So you got to, basically take an opportunity cost, what you rather be in. So, I mean, if you want to be in the Solo community for a long time, I do think this brings potentially a lot of value to you, even if, this isn't some massive, top 25 blockchain in the future. That doesn't mean you can't make money with that stuff. So, I don't want to like, completely discourage people just because I don't understand the move at all. But yeah, it's interesting. I definitely want to see the white paper. Like, when they get the testnet out, we'll check that out. If Sologenic builds some awesome asset tokenization platform on top of Corium, certainly I may want to use that someday as well. So I know we're being rather critical. It's just, I think the move kind of confuses us, and the reasoning for it is I don't really think holds up. So it makes me skeptical on its face.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I think I saw a lot of people on Twitter and also in our Patreon group. It was the pride thing of, building on the XRP ledger. You've been here for 2 years. Now you're airdropping to XRP holders. You're also airdropping this core token. It's going to be on the XRP ledger for 8+ months, and it really has no use. So I also question why you're releasing this core token 8 months before the blockchain's launched. Like, it has no use. It's really not ready yet. And also, then what's Sologenic's use case then? I mean, once those 12 months are up, I mean, not to be negative here, but they don't talk at all about the Solo token. They just say after 12 months, then you'll have to hold core tokens to get more core. And I just think it's a little much with the airdrops now. Moving forward, this seems to be just to support the Solo price, which I know some people are looking for, and that's okay. And it's possible Corium get there and they bootstrap off the community. But I think many of us who are longtime XRP holders see this as them kind of like poaching part of the community, because unlike Flare, which was supported by Ripple, backed by Ripple, did 3 years of research, is building a two-way bridge, is giving XRP the ability to be used in smart contracts to earn yield, and is creating true trustless interoperability with a two-way bridge back to the XRP ledger and Ethereum smart contracts. It's been done in coordination with the community. And this kind of just feels like it's an abandoning the community. And, maybe there's a bigger plan here, Patty, long term. But as of right now, I'm going to call it as it is. It looks like a token factory of just minting and airdropping. And everything's staying on the ledgers, IOUs, while you spend another year or two building that blockchain when you already have a network here to build. I have a feeling there's a good reason why they had to move off there, but it's not what they've given us right now. So what does this mean for people who hold Solo tokens, and what is the outlook for Core? Since we're such a big community, and since the community has driven up the value, and they're both going to trade on the XRP ledger. I don't think these tokens are going to go to zero. I think that they are going to hold their value because of the community and because of the established holders of Sologenic and the price that it's ran up to. Will these monthly airdrops, Patty, be enough to keep people in Solo for 8 months? What do you think?
I mean, I think it'll probably do better now than maybe it would have if they didn't go this route, unless they came up with some other use for Solo in the meantime until they get the whole platform up and running. So we'll have to see. I mean, definitely props on the idea on how to do that. So I'll definitely say that. But I think we're just going to have to see. This is something, I'm just going to have to keep an eye on over time. I was personally looking at possibly, after the airdrop date in January 20th for the Solo token, seeing, how much that sold off during that time period to possibly get in. Just because if they do actually achieve what Sologenic has set out to do, that could be a pretty huge deal in the future. It's just, to me, it's very unclear when they will get this license. And I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And then there's the whole building of this Corium blockchain. This is brand new. This hasn't been in development. They're not even, they have a whole roadmap, and there's a lot of steps here. So there's no guarantee it's going to launch in August. And it's also frustrating. It's like you could have launched right there on Songbird as a layer 2 or as a DApp. You didn't even need a layer 1 really to do all these use cases. And it's just like you have 2 options right here, or 3 really. You could have been a layer 2 on Songbird and Flare, or you could have just been a DApp ecosystem or DAO and issue those tokens, or a federated sidechain. And then we also know the Evernodes is coming to the XRP ledger, which is going to allow for decentralized computation for all different dApps and smart contracts. So everything is being built right here for this community. And now it's like some of the community is like, wait, what's going on over there? I think it could be confusing to our community here. And I think everyone needs to be careful about chasing some of these tokens and airdrops. You want to just manage your portfolio, and that's not financial advice, but just keep in mind that there is no real use for the tokens until Corium launches. Now, they do have some good ideas, Patty, with that Gravity Bridge. It sounds like it's going to be part of Cosmos because it's using the Cosmos Tendermint SDK.
Yeah.
And they talk about Gravity Bridge, bonded consensus. So if they did link in with IBC and Cosmos, that I think would, probably be the best move instead of just being out on an island somewhere. At least connect to some ecosystem.
I mean, I would be much more interested if that's what they ended up doing. It's just like not stated here, or at least I didn't see it when I read through.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Their WebAssembly smart contracts at Cosmos. So that would make sense to go that route. They have Kava there. They have Terra Luna. You have Cosmos. You got Agoric. There's so many things being built right now on Cosmos. So that is. And I'm not sure about the whole interoperability, though. Just saying we're going to wrap tokens and bring them across chain is a lot harder than just writing it down on a website, especially when it's not an EVM-based network to begin with. Interacting with those Ethereum-based smart contracting layer 1s and bringing assets into Corium, as they state, I don't think is going to be as easy as it's stated here. So that's something also to be aware of. And also at DEX, it's not going to be like the XRP Ledger DEX because that's built into the protocol. So we'll have to see. But I wish them the best. And everyone who's a Solo holder, I would not give up. I think this is just another step. It might take longer to get the ultimately what Sologenic's trying to be built. And if they get there, so there's no definite here, but at least they have a roadmap. They're trying to do big things. It's ambitious, and I give them credit. It's just shocking, and it still makes me shake my head because, I don't know, it's a pride thing, I think, Patty, with the XRP community, I feel like.
I mean, it's like they came in, they had this really cool idea. They've kind of pivoted to, away from it, I guess, for now. They're trying to make some NFT marketplace on the XRP ledger. They also, made their UI decks, and then, a lot of marketing around this airdrop. The price has certainly gone up a ton. When it was at 7 cents in November, and I don't know, when it dropped that low, there was some weird stuff with how Sologenic and Coinfield separated from each other. We know the Coinfield validator was taken off the UNL. Additionally, their UI was utilizing the Ripple S1 and S2 nodes, which were not meant for production use by applications. So, and then also, they proliferated the whole trust line, um, mania that we just had on the XRP ledger, which obviously brought out a an edge case that needed to be fixed. So I don't feel great about it, but we'll just have to see how this goes. And definitely, I mean, if you're in the solo community, I know you're probably intertwined with a lot of stuff that me and Mickey cover. So best of luck for you guys, and
I
I'll keep
guess
an eye on this one for sure.
we do have to throw one other component out there, Patty, and I think it's just fair to tell all the viewers that the majority of the Sologenic team's tokens are being unlocked at this 2.5 to 3 year period now since Solo launched. So I believe they were given, what was it?
I think they're going to be fully unlocked by at least by the end of next year. It's already about 60% have been unlocked at this point.
And how much did they get? 30%?
30. It was 35% of the total Solo supply.
Okay, so now just keep in mind now they all those tokens are getting unlocked. Like the big chunk of them right now, price just happens to be up. And I see why you don't need an ICO or any type of funding to launch Corium. There should be plenty of funding there, but it's almost like Solo is just a sacrifice now for core tokens. And is there going to be another sacrifice to another token? Like at some point, we want to see some development here. And I hope them the best. Maybe they'll change their mind, Patty, and they'll decide, hey, this is too much, and let's just build a side chain and pivot and focus on a narrower use case like our tokenized securities, or even if Ripple's doing tokenization. Tokenization is massive. Yeah. So I do have to say this about Sologenic. Tokenization is going to swallow the world. Just like software swallowed the world, everything's going to be tokenized. So maybe they see it as they want a foundational network to tokenize whatever assets they want moving forward. Real estate, securities, commodities, everything's going to be tokenized in the future. So they are going after a big target market, but with Gary Gensler there at the helm, he doesn't seem to be opening any doorways for digital securities or tokenized assets.
Oh, he just does. Yeah, Gary.
Clayton is, though. He's the one who did that Wall Street op and said tokenization. So maybe Gary will do something with the tokenization of stocks and things like that.
I mean, his hand could be forced by Congress and stuff. We'll have to see where they end up, especially after the midterms. Who is going to lean into embracing the crypto community in the U.S. and if one of the parties does that and kind of does things that the crypto community would like to get more legitimacy to the digital asset space, that could be a huge change. But, it seems like we're a little farther away from that since midterms aren't till next fall. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Corium. Definitely some interesting ideas here. There could totally be some reasons we don't understand why they're doing this. It just rubbed me the wrong way when it came out. So.
Yeah, I don't even know if we need Congress for tokenization. I think the SEC has already given out some licenses for alternative trading platforms, broker dealers. They're very difficult to get all licenses, but Securitize has managed to get everything they need. And they've been able to put together the value chain with Anchorage Digital, a custodian, plus Securitize's thing to be able to issue some of these tokenized securities on Algorand. So we're at that point. And once one of these bigger banks or one of these bigger corporations or funds, I think we could see, start taking the plunge into tokenized, that's when it's going to just all of a sudden just be a snowball avalanche. And then that rolls right into DeFi because tokenized assets are great collateral, especially if you have an Oracle system there that could provide all the price feeds for these tokenized assets. And Flare just happened to have a built-in decentralized Oracle system, that would be perfectly suited with 100, independent decentralized signal provider / oracles that could provide all these price feeds. So I mean, just overlooking that, that's one of the rare things to have in all of blockchain is a decentralized oracle system, and that's one of the big pluses for Flare, and it's something Sologenic's going to need.
Absolutely. Well, I don't really have much more to add, Mickey. I guess I'm sure we'll probably get the most varied responses and how people like this video after it in the comments. So I'll be interested.
I just want to throw one more thing. So we're just speculating here, but regarding if you're a solo holder, I think that there's definitely still potential to make money, and I think there still will be value in solo. And I think with this core airdrop, there will be value because you know why? It's going to be trading on the XRP Ledger DEX. It has a liquid market. These don't have to even go onto exchanges. You don't even need them core on an exchange. It's going to be an IOU. We have the Zum wallet. You could trade right there through the DEX. You got the Sologenic wallet. You could trade right on the XRP Ledger DEX. So there's plenty of liquidity. Everyone has an access point, SEC case or no SEC case. That's the great thing about the XRP Ledger. And I'm going to state this one more time. The XRP Ledger is an open sourced, decentralized, permissionless blockchain. It's permissioned with the validators, but anyone can use the network, no matter what the government says. That's why they'll never take your tokens away. They'll never be only for institutions. Ripple is going 3 rounds with grants right now to boost community adoption. It's all about the community. So I don't like that XRP2 project. I'm going to say I don't like that. I don't like the message they're putting out because it's false and it's misleading to the community, and it's in denial of the facts of the XRP Ledger. And at least Sologenic is bringing us value. So, Patty, we could say that. I think people, like free things, and if you could get something for free and it potentially could have utility and it doesn't cost you and it's low risk, weigh your risks out and, take what you could get in this market, but definitely weigh the risks.
Yep, for sure. I mean, ultimately, you got to do what's going to make you feel comfortable over the long haul. Otherwise, it makes it hard to manage all this stuff. So I think with that, Mickey, we can wrap it up.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Just the last thing, and we didn't go through the core thing, that core token is going to be distributed for 36 months. So every month, there's going to be a random snapshot of your solo for the first 12 months, so nobody will know when the snapshot will take place. So that's an interesting dynamic. And then after 12 months, it will be of your core tokens, and then you'll get more core. So there is this gamification here if you want to play along. And if you start building them up, I mean, it might make sense to hold them until you could then stake them on the blockchain that's built. All right, Patty, I think that's it. We tried to be as unbiased as possible in this video. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, this is the DeFi Standard. I'm Patty XRP.
And I'm Mickey B. Fresh.
And we're out. See y'all.